Hello, everybody. Welcome, dearest, gentle viewer.
That's right.
As you're on this right
That's
now,
right.
watching this live. Thank you so much
Or
for
on replay.
or on replay. Thank you so much for coming along today, and thank you for your patience as it relates to this episode. We know that most of you have probably watched this episode a long time ago, and we appreciate that. But we didn't, and we figured now is the time to talk about it because House of the Dragon is over, and all of these things are done, and we finally got a chance because today is actually our anniversary, and Mary was kind enough to say, yeah, let's podcast on our anniversary. So that's what we're doing today, ladies and gents. August 7th, 2024 marks 14 years for Mary and I being married. Which is wild. I have no idea what I've done to deserve her, or what I've done to deserve being married to such a wonderful person for 14 years. So this is a special time for me, and it's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. Anyway, so that is that. This is the podcast pre-show. This is where we talk about, getting ready, if there's any news or upcoming things in our lives that we have to talk about with you, the listener or the viewer. And we make sure that everything is shared, and we're in good spirits here. We're in good shape to share to the rest of the world at this post. My glasses are fogging up. See, I'm not a glasses person, so I'm not used to this.
It's a thing.
I'm not used to this
They're
at
not
all.
fogging. They're just dirty.
Whatevs. I
Fogging is when you go like out into the humidity after you've been in a nice air-conditioned place, or when you open up your oven and it gets real foggy.
Technically, I'm not a glasses person, but this helps me with blue light. So they're only blue light glasses.
Yeah.
I just look fancy.
You do look
And
fancy.
of course, we want you to have the conversations amongst yourselves, ladies and gents, about the episode as we talk about this. This is, of course, a fly in the wall experience for you, the viewer, as Mary and I podcast about any show, but in this particular case, Bridgerton. So we may not see your comments, and if we do see them and it happens to tickle our fancy, we will bring it up in the show. But do have those conversations amongst yourselves. And if you are dying to have Mary and I see something or comment on it during the episode, we do have a listener feedback portion of the podcast where we will get into listener feedback. So be sure to, even though if you've already written it, be sure to put it into the chat when the listener feedback portion comes up. That way we can address it. All right, Marvin, you got anything else you want to talk about as it relates to the podcast?
I've just been hitting the share button, text messaging our friends who are on the text message list to let you know, as we just got our kids dropped off. We've had some sickness with our kids. We've just had a lot going on. I know that this episode launched live on Netflix quite a while ago, so we appreciate your patience and possibly your rewatching of the episode, because it's a great show to watch. And like I said, we finally have childcare, so it's our anniversary. So here we go.
Yeah. All right, so let's do it, shall we, Marvin?
We shall.
10 seconds for
Room tone.
Here we go.
Are you old enough to read that?
Yes.
It's just here! I got almost enough for everyone. Oh, thank you.
And with the retirement of my literary persona, I should like to formally introduce myself. Previous wallflower, current columnist, observer, wielder of a quill. Nobody unique, and yet I have my moments.
And hopefully, dear reader, you will stay on to enjoy them with me as we begin this next part of our journey. Yours truly, Penelope Bridgerton.
all the way from Providence, Rhode Island. Welcome to Bridgerton with Mary and Blake. It is a podcast dedicated to Bridgerton on Netflix. So sit back, relax, and let's get ready to spill the tea. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. My name is Mary Larson.
My name is Blake, and I really don't like it when everything just gets wrapped up with a nice, tight little bow.
Oh, isn't that so sad?
Oh,
so
goodness
sad
gracious.
for you, Blake. Happy endings. Oh, dear me. Even though that's all you want in life, honestly,
Yes,
we
that's
all
true.
just want a nice, happy ending tied up with a bow. Please,
And something
Shonda,
fun to eat.
yes, please, please, please write the story of our lives. Oh my goodness gracious. Well, here we are at yet another remarkable finale of this beautiful show, Bridgerton. We have sadly to wait like 2 years. Oh, it's like a swear word. Until we get our next season. But I got to tell you, we now have 3, somewhat 4 seasons of Bridgerton to rewatch during that time, if you count Queen Charlotte, of course, which I do. Yes. I do in my heart.
You have to.
Honestly, friends, if
it's
you
the
are
best
still
one.
listening to this podcast and you have not watched Queen Charlotte, I'm telling you, you need to get it done.
Yeah, what are you doing with your life?
So good. And yeah, we're really excited to delve into this episode. And the cool thing about shows like this, I mean, they inspire. They touch things inside of us that maybe we knew about or we didn't know about. They make us excited. They make us angry, like all sorts of things. And one of the things that Blake and I love to do at Mary and Blake Media is we love to include your voices, whether it is a listener feedback episode or, you know, we have the small circle for our friends at House of the Dragon.
Small council.
Excuse me.
You got to protect the anchor.
Yes, I do. It's something that we love to do. And there was so much feedback about the season finale for season 3 that we cannot wait to share your insights and your opinions. So very, very excited to have you. I just know that even though this is the last episode of season 3, that you can still leave us a written review on Apple Podcasts. If you have listened to all 8 episodes of Mary and Blake for season 3 and you haven't yet, head it on over. I don't care where you listen to the podcast. Apple Podcasts is the place to leave a review. I'm not saying you need to listen there. Just leave a written review, not just the stars, but the written review. I want to thank Jess L54, who said the best. These 2 are amazing, bring different viewpoints. I could listen to them for hours. Wendy from New Jersey said, always look forward to your podcasts. And so I just want to thank these friends. And Nature K says the Must Bridgerton podcast. I love Mary and Blake's podcast about Bridgerton so much that while I'm watching the episodes, I can't wait to hear what they have to say. They do a good job breaking down all the parts of each episode. I often get a new perspective that I haven't heard of or thought of before. So thank you all so very much.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. So, yeah, Marvin, today, as you just kind of alluded to, we're going to handle this episode a little bit differently than what we normally do. Because there was a wide range of reactions to this episode, we're going to kind of let the listeners guide the conversation.
Because they touch upon so many of the things that we have written about anyway in our notes. And as we sat down, we were like, we're just going to be redundant if we do this. So rather than do it and discuss the episode bit by bit, moment by moment in the show, or character by character, we're really using the listener feedback.
Yeah, the community, you guys. We want to make sure that you folks out there, as always, this is agenda-free, Marvin. You know what? We're going to break the rules here a little bit. It's going to be agenda-free.
Now, I will say that for those of you who have watched this episode a while ago and you need a little refresher, I can give you a mini plot recap.
Oh, we got to do the music for that, though.
All right.
Okay, here we go. Of course, I'm not even prepared. Here we go. Listen, I'm willing to break the rules for a lot of things, but the show structure, we got to play the music. Then there's rules here.
Deal.
This isn't Nam, okay? There's rules.
Oh my God. Okay.
All right. Go ahead, mini plot recap.
Okay, so this episode, of course, was the season finale of season 3. It is episode 8, Into the Light, and this is with Cressida really bullying Penelope and now the rest of her family, saying, give me the money. No money, no problems. Well, that's not true for Cressida, okay? More money, less problems, in her opinion. She wants more money. So Penelope ends up saying, you know what? I'm going to tell the truth. I'm going to tell the truth to everybody. And like Blake said, this ties up with a beautiful little bow. Happy endings for everyone, including a threesome. You're welcome.
Goodness gracious. All right, here we go. This episode was entitled Into the Light, which obviously is a reference to Penelope coming out of the shadows as Lady Whistledown, and she does so very literally go into the light at the ball, if you will, when the queen kind of shows her up here a little bit, and she defends herself in the light. And then also there is that final moment of the episode where she and Colin are kissing, and the bright white light shines behind them and envelops the screen, thus into the light. The director was Tom Verica. You should definitely know that name by now, as he is the Sean DeLand All-Star. He's pretty much the A-list director for all of Bridgerton, seeing that he directed all of Queen Charlotte and has directed episode 102, Shock and Delight, 103, Art of the Swoon, 205, and Unthinkable Fate, and 206, The Choice, Marvin. So that is what he has directed. And it was written by Daniel Robinson. The only other credit that Daniel has for Bridgerton was episode 202, Off to the Races. All right, cups of tea. What are you giving? What's your rating, your cups of tea rating for this episode?
Of course. So, all season long, and honestly, during all of our episodes of Mary and Blake, we rate episodes on a scale of 1 to 5 within that show structure itself.
Yep.
Not necessarily television all over the place, but within the Bridgerton verse. How do I rate it? I give this one a 4.8.
Wow. Did not expect that coming from you.
Did you expect a 5?
No, I expected lower.
Oh.
Just like Mary and I we don't. For those of you who are new to Mary and Blake Media, we'll watch something, and if it's something that we're covering, we don't often talk about it because we like to save the conversation for here, unless something just blew our doors off. Then we're like, well, we got to talk about it, So you didn't say much, and I thought, okay, she didn't seem too excited about all this. I'm figuring like a low 4, but for me, I'm giving it a 3.81.
Okay, that is low for you.
I'm giving it a 3.81. I thought that this episode was, I don't want to say bad, but it's just too neat.
Oh.
And there are so many things in here that are just useless and pointless that I am very frustrated.
I can appreciate that.
So as a result, it's more of a reflection, I think, Mary, of my frustration for the season, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Not that the season was bad, but there were a number of things that kind of popped up during the season,
Mm-hmm.
and then it just died on the vine.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's what I'll go with. Okay, you're GBG. You're good. You're bad. And you're great.
Okay, so my good for this episode was all the fuzzies, was tying everything up with a nice bow. I love finales of Bridgerton. You can't not watch a finale of Bridgerton or Queen Charlotte with not leaving it with a smile on your face. And that's what it did for me.
Definitely Queen Charlotte. I thought that
I
was
God,
crying.
Right, crying. Exactly. A smile on your face with tears running down your cheeks. But this, it really, I don't know. I love this family. I love this show. I love the splendor. It was just another, to me, well done season of this show, and expanding the universe a little bit more, exploring different dynamics. So my good is just all the warm fuzzies that I had. My bad was all of the B plot lines were worthless.
I literally downloaded a brand new sound drop just for this moment. You ready?
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
That's what I downloaded just for this.
For friends who don't know what that is.
That is Peter Griffin from Quahog, Rhode Island in Family Guy.
Fun fact, friends. Family Guy, very famous
Yes, created by
Adult.
Seth MacFarlane.
cartoon. Seth MacFarlane, who went to college at the Rhode Island School of Design, a very well-known art school.
Mhm.
And yeah,
And Family Guy came out of that.
It takes place in fictional Rhode Island. So you're welcome.
Yeah.
You're welcome. A lot of the things, sadly, are true in Rhode Island. But yeah, great soundbite. And
Thank you.
that is true. I mean, Mondrich's, what was the point?
Yep.
Threesome of Bennington.
Yep.
What was the point? He even says that. He's like, I don't know who I am anymore. I just,
Even Violet and
Oh
Marcus.
my God. Stop it. Even,
Francesca.
okay, Francesca got a little bit out of. A little bit. If anything, I got a little bit out of Francesca. Everyone else, goodbye.
Yeah.
Why are you here? Why are you taking time away from the characters that I care about and matter if nothing came of this? And then my great Penelope and Portia's relationship.
Yeah.
And how that beautifully came full circle. And obviously this season was, advertised as Penelope and Colin, and, all the things. It's like, oh, they're loving, and, him finding out that she's Lady Whistledown. But truly, we spent so much time with Portia
Mhm.
and with Penelope, and them dealing with their own struggles alone, and finally being able to open up and say we're more alike than we know. Oh my God.
Right.
That, to me, I'm like, you should have changed the advertisement. You know how they did that for The Crown, where one half of the season was one part of advertisement, the second
Yes.
half of the season was different. I would have loved the second half of this season's advertisement to be like Portia and Penelope.
You're right. Right.
Like, okay, you got the ring on the finger.
Probably would have been a little bit more helpful. I mean, just for the.
Because this season was not about their romance as much.
No, it was
As
about
it
the
was-
plot mechanics of their romance.
Well, and also we're supposed to take from it all these years of friendship that they've already had, whereas Kate and Anthony and Daphne and Simon, they're meeting each other, and oh
Sure.
my gosh, this is a different relationship. Our relationships, as our relationships that do take place after people who've been friends for a really long time, you don't have the first date butterflies the same exact way.
Mhm.
We still have them, but they're different. So I appreciate that their love story was handled differently, and it allowed time and space for other things to be explored. I just hope that we get to see them in the future to expand upon this.
Yeah.
So, I hope they don't go to India or they don't go to Scotland.
I don't
because
think so.
now that her baby is Lord Featherington, they live across the street.
Right. They're sticking around.
They don't need Colin's little spare apartment. That's your house. So I want to see you a lot. I want to see your love.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
Okay. So me. Oh wow, I messed that up.
Your GBG, Blake.
My GBG, my good. Sorry, I messed up the camera here. There
It's
we
okay.
go. My good is the. Oh, I feel like Jon Snow. She's still my queen. She is still my queen, Cressida. No matter what she does, no matter where she goes, she'll always be my queen. And I liked the conversation that Colin had with Cressida. And it almost seemed like Colin was about to get through to her.
Mm-hmm.
And you had that moment where, as I suspected, they brought Cressida in to be human only to tear her down and turn her into uber villain. And,
No, but you know why it turned with Cressida.
well, why?
You don't know why things turned?
Well, what do you mean?
In her conversation with Colin, because he was getting there. He's getting there. He's getting there. He's getting there.
Yeah.
You just think it turned so she could be the uber villain?
No. But I'm just saying, overall, like, she turned into uber villain. They made her human only to break her down again. And I liked the conversation just because there is that turning point. There is that moment where you feel like, okay, we're here. We're like, this is.
But
this
you know
is the
why
thing.
that turning point happened.
I would love to hear what your thought is on that.
Oh, I was asking you.
No, I want to hear what your thought is.
Why can't you go first?
No, because you're the one who asked it. I want to hear it.
I know. It's your GBG. I'll
All right.
get to it.
All right, fair. So I like that. I like that he admits to all of the things that he's been feeling. And even though at the beginning of the episode, they wake up and things are very awkward, he is essentially explaining all the reasoning why he loves Penelope to Cressida in order to defend Penelope. And there is that self-realizing moment where, oh yeah, I think we're holding on to things here that we shouldn't be. And I like that moment for him. It's a moment of change. It's a moment of change for Cressida. And that's what it's really all about, right? We're here to see the change of these characters that we love. And despite the fact that I feel like they cheapened Cressida by making her go uber villain, she's still my queen, and she always will be.
I don't think they cheapened her.
Okay. My bad.
Will you put a pin in this so we can discuss it?
Abso-frackin-lutely.
Okay,
All right, my bad. It is 100%, and it kills me to say this,
Yeah.
Bennington.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
Honestly.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Like, once again, are we supposed to be like, oh my goodness,
It didn't
he's
do
kissing
anything.
a boy? We've already seen that.
Yeah.
This isn't no. Oh my goodness, he's doing a threesome. Once again, this guy went to art school. In my mind, Bennington's already done this
Yeah.
multiple times
and
with paint.
If it
Probably was fun.
hopefully it was edible paint.
Yeah, probably was. Maybe mashed potatoes. I don't know.
Hey,
But Bennington already went to art school and already got freaky deaky.
sure. Then what are we doing wasting our time with this? And if it actually did something to lend itself to the plot, and here's the problem. Maybe we'll get into this more, but
Yeah.
here's the
But
problem.
this is what you didn't like, is Bennington.
Yeah. All right.
He's your
I'll
bad. Okay, and then you're great.
I'll save it. My great, absolutely, like you, Mary, is the relationship shared between Portia and Penelope.
Look at us.
Especially when when Portia recognizes the whole situation and she admits that she just did whatever she could to protect her family. She did whatever she could to protect her daughters, to raise her daughters, despite the fact that there were no opportunities for them as women. She just wanted to protect them the only way she knew how, and that is by making them, independent, and by making them the kind of person that Portia wanted to be. But the problem was not the result, but the road to that result, the application of that result. And that moment, again, of change and recognition from Portia is extraordinarily important. I have a sub-bad. I cannot stand when television shows or movies or books or whatever, they have the protagonist and they have the antagonist, and they're in the same room, and the antagonist says to the protagonist, you and I aren't so different. We're just the same. Oh my God, I understand that is a very picky thing. It is we're picking nits, but it's just one of those things that just absolutely triggers me, because now that is the writer telling you, where if you're a viewer or you're a reader, you should already know that by now. The character should never have to say, you are not so different, you and I. Like, oh my God. And Penelope says this to Portia. This whole
But it's
time.
important for them to recognize that. It's one thing for us, who we've been saying it all along, for us as the viewers to see it, but this is important for the characters themselves to see it, because let's be real, you don't see things in your life
That's fair.
as easily as others do.
That's fair. Fair. All right, Marvin, it is time for the music. You ready for it?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let me make sure I got my stuff going on here. That is not the music. That is an advertisement. Sorry. Here we go.
Cats and boots and cats and boots and cats and boots.
All right, Marvin, go ahead. This is a song entitled Lights by Ellie Goulding.
Yes.
Though it is covered by one Archer Marsh. Achamash. You got to say it right.
Achamash.
At a fabulous ball thrown by the Featherington sisters, there's a big dance scene to cover of L. Goulding's Lights. It is the last big ball scene of the season, and the cover is Bridgerton's soundtrack at its best. What else?
You ready?
I'm kind of out.
Lyrics?
All
Okay.
right, sure, go ahead.
So, I had a way then, losing it all on my own. I had a heart then, but the queen has been overthrown. And I'm not sleeping now. The dark is too hard to beat. And I'm not keeping now the strength I need to push me. You show the lights that stop me turn to stone. You shine it when I'm alone. And so I tell myself that I'll be strong and dreaming when they're gone, because they're calling, calling, calling me home. You show the lights that stop me turn me to stone. You shine it when I'm alone. I play within my head, touch my own skin, and hope that I'm still breathing. And I think back to when my brother and my sister slept in an unlocked place, the only time I felt safe. So, fun fact, this song is actually about Ellie Goulding's fear that she had of the dark as a kid. And she could only sleep with the lights on.
Interesting.
And that's actually what it's about.
Wow, okay.
Pretty neat, right?
Yes, very
So when you
neat.
think of it in that term, pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Not bad. Not bad. All right. I'll soften on that one.
Yeah, now that you understand what it's
Yeah.
about.
And now that I recognize the song more,
Yeah.
like I know this song now.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll soften on my
And then
take.
you think about it,
I have
knowing
a take retraction.
Okay.
Okay.
and you know like what happens to Penelope throughout this entire season, throughout her own entire life, you know,
Yep.
being afraid. I don't know. I just think it's pretty neat.
Yep. All right. The next song, Marvin, is All I Want by Tori Kelly. I will totally 100% admit
Yep.
that I have never heard one Tori Kelly song ever.
Yes, you have.
No, I haven't. The only time I've ever seen Tori Kelly, and I had no idea who she was when she was in the Thanksgiving Day Parade.
I'm going to tell you that you've heard Tori Kelly so many times.
Have I really?
And I'm going to blow your mind.
Okay.
Tori Kelly is the elephant in Sing.
No. I mean, I know that she is the but I've never I've never listened to her
Don't
music.
you worry about it. Like
Yeah.
that cover. That's
No,
her.
I know that, but I'm just saying I've never listened. I've never been like, yeah, dude, the new Tori Kelly album just dropped. We gotta listen.
And you've heard her. I've played the song that she sings with Jacob Collier. And
that does not stand out to me.
okay.
Anyway,
Tori Kelly is one of the best singers nowadays.
okay,
Like,
this was a cover by
her-
Chris Bowers. It's a song called All I Want. It's the first original song in Bridgerton, and an orchestral cover of it plays over the season 3 credits, just as after the epilogue. I'm so excited that I get to be a part of this amazing show in my own way, Kelly said.
So what's interesting is that she wrote this song, you're saying, for Bridgerton,
Yeah, it looks like it.
and they don't even play it.
Well,
They play it at the credits.
yes.
God. Like, don't you know? This is Netflix.
Don't you know?
There's a button that skips the credits. It just minimizes it and pops it into something else and says, do you want to watch Queen Charlotte? And by
Yes.
that point you say, yes, I do.
Absolutely.
Tori Kelly got the shaft.
She got the shaft.
On this. My goodness gracious. All right, so here are the lyrics to Tori Kelly. Once again, the elephant from Sing. Girlfriend's got pipes. If you have not seen Tori Kelly, and if you want to search her and Jacob Collier, oh my God. I'm telling you, it's going to give you incredible respect for this woman.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay. Like the rain wants to fall and the sun wants to shine, I want you close to me every night. Like the earth wants to spin and the fire wants to burn, I want you here through the highs and the hurt. Oh, I bet that I would find you in every lifetime, the only heart that's crazier than mine. I can hear a symphony. Yeah. All I want is you next to me. If you're the question, I'll be the answer. If you're the music, I'll be the dancer. And when we get older, we're gonna stay young. Because today and always, you're all that I want. Like the grass wants to grow, I want to run anywhere that you go. Like the waves want to break and my hands want to hold, I want to hold you until I'm a ghost.
Oh, whoa.
Can I hear the original version of this?
Sure. Hold on one second. Let me see if I can find
That is a really cool line. And my hands want to hold, I want to love you until I'm a ghost.
Okay, here we go. Ready?
Ooh. Here we go.
Oh, it's kind of like a bluesy feel.
And the montage is all Penn and Colin scenes, right?
Like the rain
And you can't play it too long because we'll get in trouble.
Probably.
But here we go. All right, so you guys can find that.
There you go. Okay. Just do that on your own time.
But I'm telling you, Tori Kelly,
Tori Kelly is in. Okay.
she's incredibly, incredibly talented.
I'm not doing a take retraction as I did for Ellie Goulding, but I'll soften on this take a little bit.
Okay.
I'll soften.
I'm
All
glad
right.
that you softened down both.
Was
awesome.
I did a take retraction for the first one. A take step back,
All
if
right,
you will.
I got you.
All right. So I just want to say this about before we get into everybody else, before we get into the listeners, the stuff with Bennington really, legitimately upset me, and because
I'm
she's
flipping
throwing her
iPads
around,
flipping
she's that
things
mad.
around.
It upset me because it didn't do anything to serve anyone. And all it did when it showed up was just put everything to a screeching halt.
Yeah, we just get interrupted with commercials of threesome.
And for no reason.
We're busy here.
We got things going on.
Come on.
I don't know. I was very disappointed in it. And here's another thing, too. I was very disappointed in the stuff with Francesca and then John Sterling.
Really? In this episode?
Yes, but
Oh,
not
I was
the two of them,
Okay.
but Francesca's reaction to Michaela.
Oh, you were disappointed. Okay.
I was disappointed in that
All right.
because everything I just watched now for her and John
Mm-hmm.
is out the window. I know now why Francesca is going to have her own season. It ain't because of John, it's because of Michaela. And she's going to have this thing where it's going to be kind of like Anthony, just a little bit different. Oh, I married John, but I'm in love with Michaela.
Okay. Why are you mad?
Because it just negated everything I watched during this season.
You can have multiple loves in your life.
I agree. I totally agree.
And I think that maybe will be something that we get to learn and love with Francesca. And for everyone who's been a widow or a widower and has had a second love in their life, I think that's going to really speak to them. I am so excited.
What do you mean as a widower?
What do you mean?
You just said as a widower.
Yeah, as a widow or widower.
Oh, okay.
So I'm saying as
But
someone
she's
who's
not a widow.
Do you hear what happened in their ceremony?
What?
All three of them. All three. She, John, and the priest
Mhm.
all talked about death.
Well, everybody does in
No,
marriages.
But, okay, we didn't hear that.
Till death
in-
do us part.
No, but they all three say it. Okay, you don't have to. You can have one person say till death. One person can say, "Oh, I can't wait to marry you with this ring." Ba 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 ba. All three of them say death.
Okay. All right. So
'Cause
maybe
what
he's
do you
gonna.
think she's gonna have an affair season?
Maybe.
You think she's just gonna be a sleep around hussy Lady Tilly?
I don't know. And listen, I know that there's some people that apparently Michaela was Michael in the books and they've been gender swapped. I legitimately don't care.
I do. Because to me, once all this death was being talked about in their wedding, I was just like, okay, here we go. Now I get it. And this is why it's quick.
It's just so overt. It is so overt that it breaks my brain.
That's okay for you.
And because of that, I'm like,
You're going to learn that there can be multiple loves in a lifetime.
no. I agree. I agree 100%. But I'm just upset that I spent this whole time with John and Francesca when I spent all the time with the Mondriches. I spent all the time with Cressida. And I spent all the time with everything else. Instead of focusing on Penelope and Colin, I got so many other things shoved down my throat, including this. And if it was meant to be, if it was a thing that would be explored later on, okay. But it obviously isn't. And it just is thrown in there at the end.
But that's why I'm saying, man, I think you're going to learn a lot. I think you're going to learn a lot. If my assumption ends up being true for Francesca,
Okay.
I think we're going to have a lot of love still. And I think we're going to
hope
learn
so.
about grief And I think that is a very different, beautiful journey that someone can go down. So I don't think that it's a waste. I think you're meant to go through this love and appreciate that there can be different love, and that also you can have multiple loves and love after grief. But like I said, all three of them talked about death, and to me that is no joke, that is on purpose, that otherwise it would have been redundant for no sake, but that was put there. And then yes, we have this Michaela person come on up. What I don't love is that I still hope that Francesca's love style and the way that she feels and expresses love gets to be her own, because I think that was a very unique thing that she's been able to address with Violet. But who's to say that she doesn't continue to have her own love style and way of expressing it?
Well, the way that it appeared to me was that Michaela walks up and it just sends Francesca to freaking Pluto. Like, whoa, did not expect that.
Well, also,
and great. Like, I'm so happy that happened for her. Like, truthfully, great. But what the hell did we just watch then?
I also took it a little bit like Bish. And mind you, I'm not swearing on purpose. Where were you? My wedding was 2 days ago.
Right. Where you been?
Why are you coming to the dink with ball for cheese? Why am I meeting you now? And who are you?
Exactly.
I am going to be the lady of a castle.
Exactly.
You didn't come to my wedding?
Exactly.
You just show up for the cheese and the
you
butterflies?
showed up for the cheese and the butterflies.
Why was Michaela not at the wedding?
I was very down on that. I was very down on it because it's just so overt and it's tagged on at the end. It felt cheap.
Okay. So we got Bennington. Bennington obviously is going to have his own season next season.
Right.
They've announced that he's a lead, and I loved that the last thing he has with Eloise, and they're in the hallway, and she's like, I'm going to Scotland. And he's like, I have no idea what I'm going to do with my life. And this is going to be something good for you. And we have Lady Whistledown's voiceover.
Yeah.
Talking about like the next adventure or new beginnings or something like that. But the shot is still on Bennington. So even before we had confirmation from Netflix that he was going to be the season 4 lead, the season 4 love story, I think it was outlined for us through the voiceover and it's still being on him and by everything that he's saying. So I'm really, really excited about that. And I'm also appreciative to the fact that like he's felt like he's kind of been all over the place. What I did like for him is when Lady Tilly is like, hey, I want a date. And he's like, yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
You know, this was fun, and I kind of like the fun right now, and I don't really like having a real job or being tied down, because knowing that he is going to be the lead romance of next season, how will that play out? Think about all the people in their lives who are saying, I'm not here for a relationship, I'm not looking for one, I don't want one, and that's when love hits them.
Sure.
So I'm excited.
I agree. Here's the thing with Bennington. The threesomes and that whole Lady Tilly experience doesn't do anything. It doesn't change anything. Right? He started off free, like, I'm going to do what I want. I'm going to do whatever I want.
Yeah.
Then he has the Lady Tilly experience. And at the end of the season, he goes, I'm still going to do whatever I want.
Yeah.
Nothing changed.
Agreed.
And because of that, I look at it and I say, well, something has to change.
And it will.
It will, but it didn't in this season. And that this is the problem.
But I think that's not a problem. I think that's him acknowledging it. He's asked you like, art, well, yeah, I did art, but it didn't stick. And I love this. I love this because so many of the Bridgertons are just so sure of who they are. And this is my goal. And this is my dream. And this is who I am. And this is what I stand for. And Bennington is old. Okay, he is the second oldest of the Bridgertons, and he still doesn't know who he is, what he wants to be when he grows up, who he wants to marry, what type of individual he's interested in regards to if he wants to settle down with. Like, he's just all over the place, and I think that is such a important thing to acknowledge in society. So many people feel so crappy about themselves because they don't know what they want. What do you want to do for your job? I don't know. Why are you not dating anybody? I don't know. I'm just not into anybody. I don't even know what I would like right now. Like, he's not gonna just settle. And that's the thing. He's saying, I don't know what it is. I don't know what I'm passionate about.
I think the
right
next thing
now.
I learn is going to change my life and blah, blah, blah. Like, that's what he ends up saying. I agree.
I love that.
I agree.
That's such an important
But the problem
message.
is we watched this whole thing and nothing changed at all. What would have worked, and I'm not here to write a better show, but what would have worked would have been he starts off the season with a purpose because because what's his name? Anthony is away.
Yeah.
Right? Then he loses that purpose because Anthony comes back and he's kind of just listless, which gets him into this threesome relationship with Lady Tilly. The change would have been this, and this would have worked if Lady Tilly says, hey, I kind of want a date. And he looks at her and he says, yeah, me too. And that would have done two things. He would have changed because he would have said, I like this. I want to be with this person. Number two, it would have set him up for subversion for season 4 because everybody thinks, oh, season 4's coming. It's going to be Bennington. It's going to be his thing. It's going to be his big love story. Now you throw this giant wrench into the mix of like, wait, is it going to be Lady Tilly? Is it not going to be?
She doesn't deserve the screen time.
Agreed. Then you start him off at the beginning of the season with Lady Tilly. Or they break up off screen, right? He's heartbroken. He does the thing. And then that's how his season begins.
I'm okay with how his story ended. I just didn't need the rendezvous in the bed.
Yeah, right.
Because it just made me feel like the show is saying, look it.
We can do this cool stuff.
Okay, so Penelope and Colin aren't having enough sex, which shame on you, show. If I was going to be seeing more sex,
Gonna be
I
those two.
want Penelope and Colin. I
Yep.
want this beautiful body of Pen. I want this, I want their story. I
Sure.
want them. I don't need Bennington.
Yep.
Making me think like, look at him do something different. I already saw him do
Yeah,
this.
we just don't care.
We're here, okay? We're done.
Peter,
so,
Peter, what do you think?
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
That's right, Peter. Who the hell cares?
and Mondrich's, I'm not even going to say anything.
No,
You
it's
don't
not even worth it.
dignify
They're just there. They're just there.
Okay. One more B plot line.
Okay.
Lady Bridgerton. Is she gonna end up with Lady Danbury's brother, or is he just the first gardener of many?
I think he's the first gardener.
But not the.
I don't think he's the. I don't think
He's not the live-in gardener.
No, he's the one who comes to tend the garden on a part-time basis.
Oh, he's like the landscaper just to do the spring cleaning and pull out the
Correct.
weeds. But he's
Yes.
not actually the one that's gonna like do the landscaping.
Oh no, he's not maintaining.
And say here's gonna be the perennial dream.
He's doing the fall cleanup.
Why?
Because this feels to me like a response to what Lady Danbury did with her father, right? With Violet's father.
But Violet
And it's not-
deserves.
But it's not like an angry response. It's like it just feels like a story response.
I think she just needs to meet some new people. I just didn't feel the chemistry. I don't believe the chemistry. I think
Agreed.
if I believed this chemistry, I would be like, you are the gardener, done. Like,
Yep.
let's do it. Let's see it. Come over for Christmas. We're here for this.
Yep.
I don't believe their chemistry whatsoever. And
Yep.
that isn't because they haven't hooked up. We have seen plenty of chemistry with a little licking of an ice cream scoop,
Yeah.
with a touching of
You know what that is? It's a rerun. Licking out the ice cream.
I'm saying, Simon, I'm saying
Oh,
I'm
sorry,
able
sorry,
to have
sorry.
chemistry between characters in Bridgerton that doesn't involve something between the bed sheets.
Sure.
So I'm not like, great, I'm excited for Violet to get some action.
Mhm.
I don't believe this coupling.
Yep.
I don't believe the
Even-
chemistry.
Even the stuff with Eloise.
Oh, I love the Eloise
Even the stuff with Eloise felt like it was just thrown in there. Like they repurposed the shot of the two of them on the chair, like on the couch, when they're, yay, we're friends again. Everything's back to normal. We're laughing with each other. And like, you just went through some serious stuff. And
I
like,
love that.
you're just like, yay, everything's normal.
Well-
and then it's like, oh, okay, I'm going to Scotland now because I'm gonna, like,
I'm thrilled for Eloise.
I don't know.
I absolutely adored Eloise in this episode, particularly the moment where at the ball she hop jumps to Francesca and she's like, so I was thinking. And
Sure.
Francesca hop jumps to the side
Yes.
in the same exact way. These two characters, Francesca and Eloise, this season, whether it's at the dress shop or anything, have been such an extraordinarily fun sister coupling to watch.
Sure.
I would say it's actually been one of my favorite things when it's come to Francesca scenes is when she's interacting with Eloise. They are so incredibly different, and yet you think about it, they're next to each other age-wise, the F and the E. Eloise had a very difficult time connecting with Daphne, and Daphne kind of always being this epitome of like the perfect female. And here she is with Francesca, who is always seen as different. And yet Francesca was taken away. She was in Bath playing
Right.
the instrument all this time, and she finally gets to be home, and Eloise has a kindred spirit in her in the sense that we are a little different, and society sees us a bit odd, and Francesca's saying, hey, I'll use my strength to cover up for you.
Yeah.
And just so you know, I'm going to Scotland. So luckily Mom's going to go have her garden tended to so she doesn't bother you. And for them to get together, and I'm excited. I hope we don't miss it. I hope that we do have some shots in Scotland. Blake and I being huge Outlander fans.
Sure.
Both of us having Scottish heritage. We hope we spend some time in the Kilmartin Castle.
Yep.
Because we'd be needing this.
Always.
Always. I hope that Eloise doesn't come back too soon because she says it to Bennington. He's like, don't forget Mama's masquerade ball.
Yes, Masquerade.
Yeah. Don't forget Mama's having the Phantom of the Opera. And Eloise like, oh, I can't forget. When did this come up? Okay, great. I'm really pumped that we're having this. But I didn't know that this was a thing.
And again, that's a thing that's just tacked on.
So is Eloise coming back for the whole season? Is she coming back for next ball season, starting with the Masquerade Ball? And is she here? Or is she just going to come visit for the Masquerade Ball? I just want time in Scotland. That's all I'm saying.
I agree.
I just need some time in Scotland.
All the time in Scotland because it's beautiful and that's the reason why.
If Eloise finds a Highlander.
Oh, that would be great. That would be two of our fandoms colliding. I'd be so happy about that.
I know it would be probably very different than in the books.
Yes.
But if she comes back with a Highlander.
Oh, good
Mom,
stuff.
I found a man.
All right, so we got to get to the listeners here because we've been talking a lot, and we actually were hoping to just focus on what the listeners were saying. So, Marvin, you ready to do that?
I am.
All right, here we go. Excuse me. Oh, my goodness. That happened at the exact wrong time.
That's okay.
Oh, all right. So all the listener feedback here is from jointhenerdclan.com. This one comes from RR Studio. They say, found this season ending emotionally satisfying as it tied up all the loose ends beautifully, yet it seemed like a series finale because of Whistledown's VO that is now Penelope. There was an ick factor for this gentle reader when Bennington has a pretty explicit threesome in order to finally be free, in quotes. Shonda says she likes to film her sexual fantasies. Was it a Bridgerton too far? 4.85 cups of tea.
Okay.
Was it a Bridgerton too far, Mary?
Listen, I come off classy. Threesome to me is not too far. I'm just gonna say that we went to art school with Bennington. We were seeing a bunch of stuff. I already thought things were happening there. This did not blow me away thinking it was different. We've watched Outlander and there's toys.
We've watched Game of Thrones.
Yeah. So
let's just be honest.
To me, Shonda being like, "Oh, I'm gonna do my fantasies." Like, okay,
great.
That's not original.
Yeah.
So to me,
you know what
as
you
a
should
viewer,
say. You know what you should say to Shonda?
Yeah.
You're basic.
Yeah. Yeah. And not in a mean
No,
way.
no, you're just like that's.
But if this is it, if you're trying to be like, oh, Bennington's having some fun, then get Madame Delacroix to make some costumes.
Sure.
Okay?
Figure
Get a
that
little
out.
fun. Do some Ren Fair three play. Someone's King Arthur and you're Lancelot and she could be Guinevere, Lady Tilly's Lady Guinevere and oh, on guard and play go have fun, okay? But what I will say is having Whistledown's voiceover become Penelope, beautiful, fun, neat little twist. Question.
Mm-hmm.
Does this mean that in future seasons
That it's going to be Penelope.
of Bridgerton, do we not have Lady Whistledown papers? I'm very confused because she outs herself, obviously, at the ball. And the Queen says, I look forward to your next issue. And then they go about, and she has her VO, and we have the VO over Bennington. And okay, everybody, like, wow, here we go. But then she has another issue come out with her baby in her hands.
Yeah, well, that's the issue.
Was this the same issue?
Yeah, that's the same
like,
issue.
did the Queen and did she come out to everybody and just write one issue and say, okay, I'm Penelope Featherington, but guess what? This is the end. Peace out. Was that her last issue? Like, if the ball was on a Saturday and she wrote an issue on Monday, was that the last one? Or are we led to believe she continues to write until little baby Lord Featherington 9 months later emerges and she says, listen, I am working on 2 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
All
Take the
I'm
baby
eating
food shopping.
is a bucket of pretzels in my nursing chair. Even though, Penelope probably wouldn't. I mean, maybe she would have because,
You know?
Lady Bridgerton did. Usually ladies of the stature had wet nurses.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't understand how to take that. Like, are the Whistledown papers done?
That's another thing that the season lets us down on.
What do you mean lets us down on?
I'm
just asking you.
I know,
are we
Hold
done
on.
with Julie Andrews?
Let me finish.
I can't be done with Julie
Let me
Andrews.
finish. The whole season, one of the themes of this season is, can Penelope be a Bridgerton and be Lady Whistledown?
Yes, she can.
So there is a
she
definite answer in that she's no longer Lady Whistledown. She introduces herself as Penelope Bridgerton. Great.
Is this 9 months after the ball?
Big however.
Yeah.
Is she going to continue? There is no indication that she's going to, or that she won't.
Or like I said, is this when baby Featherington, Lord Featherington, has arrived? Does she write for the next 9 months, pretending to be Lady Whistledown, and when the baby's here, she's like, never mind, I'm Penelope. For all of you who weren't at the
It doesn't make sense.
ball, like, I don't understand.
And you know another thing too, when Hyacinth, who knows all, comes running into the room.
Yes.
It just dropped. I got just enough for all of us.
With the babies in the room.
What the hell are you talking about? You all know that Lady Whistledown is Penelope. She should just be giving you free copies.
Oh my God, Hyacinth used all of her pen money.
Right.
It's like,
what are we doing?
Pen.
Just give me the manuscript.
Give me the OG.
Right.
That's what Hyacinth totally would be being like, I've got the original manuscript.
Right. Because she knows all.
Oh my God.
This is the first kink in the
I'm
armor.
very confused because if her last issue comes out when we see it, when little baby Featherington, Lord Featherington is like 3 months old, 2 months old, whatever.
Yep.
That means the better part of a year has gone by. So does Bennington's romance year take place during that? I don't know. The baby is throwing me off with the Lady Whistledown paper.
The other thing too is that they got the baby now. Okay, and it just so happens that she has the male baby.
Good
the
for
other
her.
two sisters
Love
have
it.
the
I'm here
female
for it.
babies. And like the other thing that happens is it's just such a neat little ending where it's like, okay, Mom, now we can tell the Sherry guy, that all the money came from My Lady Whistledown.
I love that. I think that's brilliant.
It's just so.
No. Guess what?
They built this guy up to be a thing.
Yep.
He kinda is a thing.
Yes.
But doesn't do anything.
No, he puts pressure on them, and then the ladies'
Nothing
powers
happens.
combined.
Nothing happens. She pays for the ball. She says at the
love
ball in the middle of everybody.
I love it.
No. It was.
I'm
just,
here
it was
for it.
poorly
For her to
written.
be like, Mom, I solved this problem. I love that these two women are willing. Because here's the scoop. This is why I love it. Because it was my great. Okay. Portia and Penelope, Slytherins till death do them part.
Agreed.
Okay. Through and through, these women are so much alike. Penelope's big thing: I shall not tell a lie. No more secrets. Guess what girlfriend just did?
Yeah.
Again. Mom, I got a secret.
Yeah. Go tell this
now,
guy.
Now only you and I know this secret, Mom, is that I'm going to pretend that this is what this money's for. Do you think she tells Colin?
No.
By the way, all the money that kept the Featherington family alive is the stuff that you were wicked upset about. So not only am I Lady Whistledown would upset you, but the schmuck with the glass rupees upset you. And oh yeah, I lied about that too.
Oh, poorly written. Poorly written.
Oh
Poorly
my-
written.
No, I don't think it's poorly written.
It's poorly written.
I think it's amazing.
It's too jumbled.
Because to me, these women are so much alike that they will take care of themselves.
Do you know what
and
this feels like?
Heck with everybody else.
This feels like the first draft of a really great idea.
Stop it. I love it. I love it. These women are like, no one is looking out for us. We have to do what we can do.
Sure.
We have to control what we can control. Other people don't need to know the ifs, ands, and buts.
Yep.
Because if we are taken care of, that's what matters.
Sure.
And that's what the two Featherington ladies did right there, is they did like a little blood bond, like, all right, let's do this. I just told my
Blood
husband
bond.
no more lies.
All right, we gotta move on here.
Becca
says, I'm so sad this season is already over. I've watched the season multiple times now, fast forwarding through the side plots to stay connected to the beautiful love story of Penelope and Colin. Nicola Coughlan and Luke Newton embodied these characters so well. And I noticed with the rewatch that we started the season with Out of the Shadows, and it ended with Into the Light. With what a really great bookend. And Becca knows her Mary and Blake Media commandments. I agree. It is a good bookend. Although, I would also say it's not necessarily so much a bookend, but more of a payoff.
Oh my God, nitpicky.
I really want to give this finale a 5 because I have so many goods and greats, but the Bennington threesome ruined it for me again. So it's a 4.85 for me.
We get he's horny. We
Good.
don't need it thrown in
Benedict
our
and
face.
Eloise on the swing. It was like returning to an old friend. I teared up when Benedict said, "There she is." My bad, the threesome. I have no problem with the characters finding sexual freedom, but Benedict has been doing this since season 1. Did we really need the prolonged threesome scenes to get him to a place where he decides he wants to be free longer? Plus, Tilly's declaration of wanting him all to herself after she spent so much time convincing him to open himself up to a threesome felt so random and forced. My great. I was crying through both Penelope and Colin's speeches, but my absolute favorite thing was when, after the bugs were released, we see Penelope looking at a butterfly on her hand and watching it as it flies away. What a beautiful symbolism of her transformation from feelings of being trapped wallflower girl into a free and beautiful woman. Agreed on all of those. I like, and Mary, your thoughts, I want to hear them on Bennington and Eloise on the swings, because I really liked that scene as well.
I loved it. I absolutely loved it, and I loved coming back to it again and again. This is another thing, is that I really hope that Eloise does come back from Scotland for a substantial amount of time during the Bennington season.
Yes.
Because their relationship is honest, is true, is non-judgmental. I mean, that is just such a beautiful listening relationship, and they both feel
Is
like
that
they
the
don't-
writer's way of writing them off of season 4 for a little bit?
writing who off of season 4?
Francesca and Eloise? Like,
Is going to Scotland?
yeah, like they're going to do what Anthony and Kate did this season, show up for a couple episodes, a couple of scenes, like 3 days worth of actual filming, and then see you later.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. This next one comes from Caitlin. Marvin, can you read
Caitlin says 3.1 for this episode. The lowest I think I've scored an episode ever. I was so disappointed with this episode. I know the book is the book and the show is the show, but they really needed to stick closer to source material. It's Colin and Penn's story, and we spent more time on side quests than with them. My good. Penn and her sisters, they had some really cute moments together. The bugs. My bad. Benedict's threesome did we really need it like it was implied in the last episode, and that's what it was? I don't need any more information. Give me more Colin and Penn time. You know the couple that the season was for. My second bad for book fans is that we didn't get Colin's speech. It would have been amazing to see that scene played out. My third bad, Michaela Sterling. Where is Michael? My great is Eloise and Benedict on the swing, a great callback to season 1. Also a mention of the masquerade for the next season means we will hopefully get to meet Sophie finally. I don't know what that means because, once again, book readers, we don't know. We haven't read that far. So sad this season is over. Felt it could have been better. Hopefully Shondaland and Netflix listen to the book fans when it comes to the rest of Fran's story. Interesting.
I think Jess Brownell made some poor decisions this season
In regards to
the structure of the season, and in the the writing and focus on certain characters. I hope that I like I did with Matt Roberts. I gave him a mulligan on season 4 of Outlander. I'm going to give her a mulligan on this season.
My hope is that since Penelope and Colin live across the street, that we will continue to see their love story pan out, because honestly, we didn't get enough. And just like how we were able to have bits of Kate and Anthony interwoven throughout the season, because once again, last season, yes, it was their love story, but not really, because it was kind of their awkward story.
Yes.
And we just got to have their love at the very end. So we were able to see their love in this season. Anthony's complete sheer joy and just like infatuation with his wife, and how they get to have this fun banter. I hope that we get to have that through Penn and Colin as an ongoing side characters. Does their mom live with them? Like,
good point.
When they live in the Featherington house, is Lady Featherington there? I'm just very interested to see how this pans out.
All right, we got a voicemail. Here we go.
Hi, Mary and Blake. It's Olivia calling from Toronto
Hi,
about the Bridgerton season 3 finale. So these are my thoughts on the overall season, which was only mid to me. Anyways, Eloise, I really loved what they did with Eloise this season. I thought her characterization was great. Her story was great. Her dynamic with Penelope was easily the most interesting one, in my opinion. My bad was just the pacing and allocation of screen time this season. Why are we spending so much time with these unnecessary characters? It just feels so weird from like the previous seasons. And I feel like we rarely developed Penelope and Colin. I still feel like I don't even know how or why they're together. I'm like, what are we doing here? They were so underdeveloped, and I felt like their chemistry was not good either. So it just kind of ruined the entire love story for me. So then my worst, because I don't have a great, my worst is Colin.
I love
Olivia.
That she's coming down from the clouds on this one. Just vitriol.
She's just like, rip
this is the
it
worst.
apart.
I don't got any greats.
Oh,
jeez.
I'm gonna give it a worst.
Giving it a worst.
We've
I think
never
this might be a Mary and Blake Media first.
Olivia.
Olivia's bringing
Where's
the
Olivia
heat.
from again?
I don't know, but
she said in the very beginning. Rewind very quickly. And
Olivia wants all the
I
smoke.
want to know where Olivia's from.
All right, hold on. Here we go.
She's ruthless.
Mary and Blake, it's Olivia calling from Toronto about the Bridgerton.
Toronto. You wouldn't
She's
expect
cold.
this from a Canadian.
She's cold.
She's not cold right now.
They might be.
All right.
Olivia, you don't expect Canadians.
That's what I'm
gotta
saying.
tell you, us Americans think of you Canadians as like happy and friendly and stuff.
America's top hat. That's what it is.
I just find you guys very. Look at that. You know what?
She wants all the smoke.
But do you picture Canadians being honest? I do.
No, I picture them being very nice.
Yeah.
And like skirting around the issue.
Skirting, not lying about it like Southerners.
No, like bless her heart, like no.
But not honest like Northeasterners.
No, God no.
We're honest.
It's like if I love that color dress. But the dress, like she's like, that dress sucks.
No, that's more like Southern lie.
No. The Southern lies. Yes, that dress looks great.
No, see, the way Olivia just talked, you would think she was from New England.
That's what I'm saying.
And she's from the other side of the continent.
She woke up and chose violence. That's what she did.
Oh my God, the western side of North America.
Apparently not what we thought they were.
Olivia, I am blown away, and yet also intrigued. I don't know enough about Toronto.
Jane Dickinson here on Facebook says
polite but honest.
It's polite but honest, and it's hot in Toronto.
But polite but honest.
Okay.
I don't know polite and honest because we grew up in New England.
No, we don't know those things.
We don't.
No. We're gonna just tell you.
Raw.
That dress sucks. Like,
raw. All right.
It's like Rings of Power. Give me the meat and give it to me raw.
Yeah. Okay. So back to Olivia from Toronto.
Olivia who chose violence. Here we go.
Ruined the entire love story for me.
Wait, go back. What
so then my
it?
worst,
okay,
because I don't have a great. My worst is Colin.
I just back to my worst because I don't got a great. All right.
I hate Colin. If there's one Colin hater, it's me. I hate him so much. It's mostly irrational because it's like it's his body language and facial expressions. Why is he pouting so much? Why did they glow him up so much? Why is he doing like this blue steel face all the time? It makes me so uncomfortable. I just want to punch him. I really hate him. If there's one Colin hater, it's me. I hate him so much. Anyways, yeah, I love the podcast. Just wanted to make a side comment because every time you guys say bubbies, I think of my grandmother, my great grandmother, because that's what we call them in my culture. So I just thought that was funny. Anyways, love the podcast. Yeah.
What is
Thank you.
Olivia's
Bye.
culture? Is it Torontoian? Do all people in Toronto call them bubbies? If not, what is your culture? Because
that was an all-time Mary and Blake Media rant.
oh my god,
That was I have to go back to this. I just listen, Olivia, you should be
Tracy says it's Jewish.
from Boston.
That's part of it too. Is we have a lot of Jewish friends
Yes.
around us, so that's why it's like my mom. Fun fact: my mom taught at our JCC, and when my school went on strike, which made national news because they were on strike for like a month.
Yes.
I hung out there. I hung out there all the time.
Olivia is an honorary Bostonian. This rant is Mary and Blake Media magic.
Okay.
Ready?
One Colin hater, it's me. I hate him so much. It's mostly irrational because it's like it's his body language and facial expressions. Why is he pouting so much? Why did they glow him up so much? Why is he doing like this blue steel face all the time? It makes me so uncomfortable. I just want to punch him. I really hate him. If there's one Colin hater, it's me. I hate him so much. Anyways.
Anyways. She just tore into this guy.
Oh my God.
I hate his face. I hate his glow up.
I
want
love
to punch
Colin.
him.
I love him. Oh my god.
Olivia.
Oh my God.
Olivia. That is immediately a Mary and Blake Media Hall of Fame moment. Instantly.
Olivia needs to come to New England.
Olivia,
She'd fit right in.
when you come to Rhode Island to Boston, dinner is on Mary and I, and you get this, my friend. Instant Hall of Fame media moment. Wow. Instant Hall of Fame caller. Olivia, you call back anytime just to chat and rip people apart. Oh man, Olivia, that was awesome. Great job. All right. Let's get to the next comment. This one comes from Annie M24. She says, I originally wanted to give this show finale a low 3 rating because of the dreaded B plots.
Amen.
But I felt it was a disservice to the, at moments, heart-wrenching and at moments, absolute heart-glowing moments we spent watching Penelope come into the light in her own way. My eyes welled up watching her walk down the aisle. She looked radiant and stunningly beautiful. Also, what a brilliant way to nip Cressida's scheme in the bud. I also love the healing of the relationships within the Featherington family. Penelope chose the high road and chose love and forgiveness over bitterness and revenge. 4.89 for me. Mary, didn't you think that it was just a little too syrupy sweet that she's like, yes, I'm going to pay for their ball?
Oh gosh, no, I don't think that was syrupy sweet.
No, you don't think so?
Yeah, because reading this by Annie saying Penelope chose the high road to choose love and forgiveness over bitterness and revenge. Who did she choose love and forgiveness to? Her family.
Her family, yeah. And Colin, I think, to a certain extent.
But she would have given him love. There was no bitterness or revenge that she needed to have against Colin.
Eloise?
I mean, really? It's more Eloise having the bitterness against...
Yeah, fair. I mean,
know.
I suppose there could be bitterness and revenge against Eloise for being buddies with Cressida.
Yeah, but it was Penelope who did the first thing wrong by writing all those terrible things about her. But I do agree, her doing what she did for her sister's ball, was doing right by them and was being special to them. But more importantly, it covered her mom's track. So I don't think necessarily it was like this sucralose sweet, wow, look at the love she's giving on her sisters. Yes, that's an added benefit of it. But more so, this is to save the Featherington name overall. Because let's be real, even if Penelope didn't do this, her family name would still be slandered and it would cause problems. So it's like, not only does she want to do this for her mom, because there are parts of her that really do love and respect her mom now, but really this is also to still save herself because she is part of that family.
Right.
It's so interesting when her mom says, I did all this. Why'd you do this, Mom? I did this to save the family. I did this to save you girls. I had to lie and cheat and steal, essentially, to protect you. Penelope goes, yeah, and I did the same to protect myself. And Portia goes, oh, really? From who? And then Penelope looks at her.
Yeah, exactly. Right. All right, this one comes from Heidi. She says, hey, Mary and Blake, I'm a long-time listener, first-time
Hello, Heidi.
writer. Okay, there we go. Overall, I really enjoyed this season, but the final episode left me wanting more. Colin's arc from being angry at Penn to professing his love and admiration to her at the ball was not fully developed. Was a scene left on the cutting room floor, perhaps? Because I needed to see this evolution rather than just hear about it in a monologue. Show me, don't tell me, right? Yes. Heidi gets the Mary and Blake media commandment. And why did he leave Penn hanging out on the dance floor all alone after her incredible confession? And then he stands back and waits his turn to speak with her? That lacked drama, to say the least. Otherwise, there were many, many, many goods and greats. Portia's redemption arc, Philippa's bugs, and the restoration of Penn and Eloise's friendship were highlights. I won't even bother with the other bads. I'm looking at you, Benedict. And why were the Mondriches at Francesca and Kilmartin's intimate family wedding? 4.3 cups of tea for this episode. 4.8 for the season.
Very interesting. I agree. Colin's whole storyline of like, ugh, I've actually been jealous of you. That has not happened.
Yeah.
That has not happened.
Right.
There was no way, shape, or form that a thing until now. Same with Danbury being like, I know it was you. Did you?
Yeah.
What?
Again, it's all so, and it's just all so neat.
Danbury does call her out at the ball with the dancing.
Yeah.
She calls, I believe, maybe it's not even that one. It might have even been before that one because the queen says, who is that? And Danbury says, oh, that's Penelope Featherington.
Sure.
So something could have happened then. Like, we know Danbury knows who Penelope is. We know that she knows her enough that she's able to pick her out and say her name to the queen. There could have been an inkling somewhere.
Yeah, but nothing ever was ever shown.
That's what I mean. Like, the show could have shown us something.
That's why I'm saying it's all just so neat. It's like, oh, of course I knew who you were.
Yeah.
Of course I knew. Well,
to me, I wanted Penelope to be like, okay.
Yeah, sure you did.
All right.
Yeah.
It's like those people who are like, I thought about Velcro.
Yeah, right.
I thought about Netflix before it was a thing. I could have made billions.
Yeah, I was a Netflix
Yes.
guy.
That was my idea originally.
Yeah.
I definitely thought that. No, you didn't.
No, you didn't.
Danbury. And if
No,
you
you
did, it wasn't shown to us.
Right.
Same thing with Colin being jealous.
Well, don't you get the feeling, Mary, that like these things are just kind of stuck in there to be stuck in there? Oh, yeah, of course I knew you were Lady Whistledown. Of course I did. Sure I did. See what I'm saying? Like, and that's why I'm saying it's all neat.
It doesn't even need to be stuck in there. It could have been Danbury congratulating her and saying the whole thing about, like, I admire you. The town needs more strong, outspoken women like yourself.
Sure.
It still could have been Lady Danbury-esque. I, too, love the Bridgertons. Thank you for protecting them.
Yep.
It could have been anything like that.
Yep.
That would have stuck with the Danbury character, that would have made sense all along, just to have these two characters interact. But from what I heard, I did hear, once again, friends, we haven't read these books, but I did hear that Penelope and Lady Danbury's relationship in the books is a lot more interwoven and is a lot closer.
Okay.
So this might be a nod. Once again, though, nothing involved in it whatsoever in the show.
It wasn't earned.
And
this
it
was
could
not
have
earned.
even just been a little conversation. I'm proud of you. Love another strong-willed woman in the ton.
Yep.
Just
this moment and that conclusion from Lady Danbury, it was not earned.
Because if Lady Danbury was trying to save Penelope's butt when she and the queen were playing chess and saying, well, when you win the game, it's not fun anymore. Had there been, same thing, had Danbury given a little side glance at a different part with Penelope throughout this season, had she given a little questionable look,
it would have
helped.
Yep, absolutely.
Would have helped.
Will say that I loved the callback to the chess. And I finally, again, I felt that friendship between the Queen and Lady Danbury. Like, it felt right. And that obviously is a callback to Queen Charlotte. And those are the little things that I'm looking for that build on Queen Charlotte and help recontextualize the friendship that they share later on in life too, right? So liked that.
I even liked the Queen's little one line, like, what's life without a little gossip?
Right.
And it harkens back also to Lady Danbury when she says, you know, it was one of the quotes that they were using for the trailer is like, ooh, fresh gossip.
Yes.
So it's like, you know, this little zinger talking about how important gossip and how fun gossip can be. So I did really like that.
Right. All right, this one comes from Sarah. Mary, do you want to read the Sarah one?
Sarah said, overall, I really enjoyed this season. However, I don't believe the strongest parts were regarding Pollen. I believe this season was really about Lady Whistledown, and so all mechanics and relationships that pertained to her were the most compelling, namely as Whistledown related to Eloise, Cressida, Portia, and even the Queen recognizing a worthy opponent. Thank you, Lady Danbury, in a quality Queen Charlotte season throwback. This also extends to some of the best parts of Colin and Penn conflict as they wrestled with Whistledown's place in their marriage.
Oh, yes. Hold on. Just quite slight pause. Sarah, 100% agree with you on every single take that you had there.
But this more so, in my opinion, is the back half of this season.
Sure.
The first half was Colin helping Penelope find herself, find her voice, and as he begins to struggle with his feelings for her. So I really think that the first half of the season did build on their relationship. We spent loads of time with them. Loads of time.
Yep.
But I think this back half, these last 4 episodes, I think this definitely strikes true.
Yep.
Overall, an ambitious vision, he says, that I don't think had enough time allocated to it to fully accomplish all that it wanted. And in my opinion, had they just stopped with the Mondriches and the threesomes, honestly, we would have been having so much more time to build on the Colin Penelope storyline that we would feel satiated.
Yeah, because the Mondriches never tied into what was happening.
And even if they do in the future, I didn't need this much with them. I don't need them at Francesca's wedding and at the little bro times. I don't need, oh, what are we going to do? Should we have a ball? Should we? Like, I don't
it's
need
all
you.
like, it's all.
And if they needed them because they just needed another family to throw a ball, there have been plenty of throwaway families throughout previous seasons who've hosted balls that we didn't need them to host the ball.
Part of me wanted them to tie into Lady Danbury and like how we spoke about it earlier in the season where it was like, okay, well, I get this if Lady Danbury's kind of like teaching them, like, listen, you look the way that you look, so you have a responsibility, just the way that she had to understand that. And then that builds off of what happened in Queen Charlotte, right?
Yes.
Like, to me...
But that wasn't at all
nothing.
mentioned.
Yep. No.
Whereas that was something, that was an element added in for season 1. And like you said, with Queen Charlotte. So...
All right. Let's get the next voicemail. Here we go.
Hi, Mary and Blake. My name is Jennifer from Pennsylvania, calling
Jennifer.
for Bridgerton Season 3 finale, Into the Light. I gave this episode 4.5 cups of tea, and I'm satisfied that this episode tied up some loose ends, and finally all is well with the Featheringtons. For my GBG, my good, Cressida trying so hard to get out of the situation she was in. She wasn't holding anything back from anyone, but unfortunately got what was deserved at the end. My bad. Benedict's storyline completely disjointed from the rest of the episode. Should have really given it a 3.5 cups of tea. Another bad. Only getting to see 3 babies. I would have loved a glimpse of Kate and Anthony's little one as well.
Yeah.
And my great. The writing and acting of any of the scenes with Lady Danbury, Violet, and now Lord Anderson, I could watch them all day. And my favorite great, Francesca's wedding dress was perfection from the costume designers.
Yeah.
She looked perfect. When she showed up on the TV screen, I gasped. She was beautiful. I am curious to see what's in store for her and Eloise next season. Anyway, I love your podcast, and I appreciate everything you guys do. Looking forward to season 4. Cheers.
You.
Thank you, Jennifer. I really appreciate that.
I agree. Francesca's wedding dress, absolutely stunning and very much so in keeping with her character. I loved it for the in-home wedding that they had as well. Love.
Yep.
Love.
All right, this next comment actually comes from another Jennifer. She says, hi, guys. I'm giving this season 3 finale 4.4 cups of tea. My good, Penelope and Lady Featherington, if we survive this round, we must do better.
Yes.
I loved seeing this breakthrough in their relationship and watch these two view each other with mutual respect and affection. My bad. Colin's response to Cressida's blackmail, telling Penelope, it's not up to you on what to do. Really? That was pretty harsh. In the end, he redeemed himself, but I was not a fan of his reaction. My great. I have 3.
Ooh.
Can we throw the rules out the window? It's the season finale.
Yes,
you know what?
you can.
Jennifer, you listen to Mary and Blake enough, where it's just like, when it comes to the finale, rules are out the window.
Goes.
Anything goes.
Anything goes.
Number 1, the bugs. Oh, how I will miss the Featheringtons. 2, the birthday hat. I was so glad to see Lady Danbury and Violet finally have that conversation. And 3, Eloise and Penn on the couch. Yay, I've missed their friendship. Jennifer, fair points all around, though I will say that even though the birthday hat is a callback to Queen Charlotte, which I appreciate, doesn't it feel like this conversation, once again, is tacked on to this season because it needed to tie this up neatly?
No.
There's never been any inkling about it at all the entire season. And then all of a sudden, the finale, they're like, hey, yeah, I boinked your dad. Don't worry about it. I don't need to know. And then the birthday hat's just out in the open.
I mean, it's more so like, you can be with my brother. P.S. Remember, I was with your dad.
Yeah, that's what I'm
saying.
saying.
Let's just air this out because those of us who've watched Queen Charlotte, we already know this. And that was never, like, I think we are just supposed to understand that they had this conversation in Queen Charlotte. And that this is, if people watch this without watching Queen Charlotte, they may be like, what do you mean her dad was a good guy?
Right.
But I don't know if they would necessarily notice anything about the crown. Yes, it comes in focus and it's pretty big there, but I think that's just for us Queen Charlotte people.
Sure.
I'm thinking that people who are show watchers who haven't watched Queen Charlotte, they're just going to hear, yes, you can be with my brother.
Yeah.
And then if they wonder what the heck else they're talking about, then watch Queen Charlotte.
Well, and that's an argument, I think, that the Netflix and the showrunners and Shonda, they all kind of have to have with each other. Is Queen Charlotte required viewing? Right? And I would say that this scene right here is the one that makes it required viewing. You can kind of get away with everything else, and you can kind of allude to certain things and like play it off that way. But if you've never watched Queen Charlotte and you're focused on this paper hat, you're like, what the F is that? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
It just wouldn't make sense. So you kind of have to now start producing these ideas with the intent of, oh no, all the viewers have to watch all of this.
Yes.
And if they don't, it's not going to jive.
And I gotta be real with you. You gotta watch these shows multiple times. They have done such a fantastic job. This is now, like we've said before, essentially the 4th season of Bridgerton.
Sure.
And you get to see the nuances with the characters, the little looks they give each other. Even little moments that, especially Bennington and Eloise do with their facial expressions, like I was, in the beginning of the season when the two brothers are in the carriage, or like in this episode when Francesca and Eloise mirror each other. Even in this one, during Francesca's wedding, Lady Violet gives Eloise her glass of wine, and Eloise pours her mom's drink into her own cup and just drinks it down. And to that, I say the good thing with the show is that even though it's going to take some time for us to get the next season, that the more that you watch it, the more little beautiful bits you're going to get.
This one comes from Kathy Joe. She says, overall, I was a little disappointed in the ending. I enjoyed the season. It was overall a great story. B-plots drove it all over the place, but it was still fun to watch. The good. The look on Francesca's face when she sees Michaela is absolutely priceless. But you knew it was coming. She just spent 5 minutes telling her mother that the big bangs and all that don't happen for everyone. Which, yes, makes sense because, and this is me talking now. Yeah, she goes from, love isn't all these things that you've said that it is, Violet. And then all of a sudden, she does have that. And again, it's just, never mind. It is what it is. The bad. I liked the way she came forward and admitted it was her. I did not like the whole keep writing it now deal. How is she going to write gossip when everyone knows who she is? When Lord Cheapskate doesn't pay his bills and the servants dump on him and she writes that, he knows who she is. Like, anyone is going to invite her to a party or
Yes.
to talk to her. Come on. No one is going to read Lady Whistledown to see how the baby is growing and domestically blissful she is. They want the garbage, the goods.
That's right.
The great, the bugs, as someone else wrote. You have to love the Featheringtons. The reference to the masquerade does tip the hat to Stephen Soar will be about Benedict. This was actually my least favorite book, so I'm looking forward to see what Shondaland does with that story. All right, we got another voicemail. Here we go.
Hi, Mary and Blake. This is Amy from Texas calling with my feedback on Into the Light. I give this a 4.8 cups of tea rating. My good. The Featheringtons, all the Featheringtons, love the mother-daughter dynamic, the resolution, all the Featheringtons, just so good. My bad. Bennington. Oh my gosh, side plot, so boring and bad. I love Bennington. They needed to do something else with him. Tied for my bad is also, I love all of the Colin and Penelope love scenes. I really wanted one at the end that was a culmination of them not having the whistle down stuff hanging over their heads. I know we got that bit at the end, and I did love it. I loved especially the position. I thought the symbolism of that was amazing, but I did not need to hear Julie Andrews' voice over it. So I would have liked something a little bit just more at the end for them. And my great, the Lady Bridgerton, Lady Danbury conversation made me cry. Beautiful, amazing. That is my great. Overall, I thought this season was really good, especially once I started thinking of it as not really the Pollen season, but the Penelope season. I thought it was really her story, and Colin just really happened to be a part of it. But I loved their whole love story as part of it anyway. All right. Thank you, guys. You're the best. Bye.
All right, Amy. Thank you. Yeah, I like that take a lot. It's not the Pollen season. It is the Penelope season.
And which is why I really do hope that in the future we get to have more Colin and Penelope. Once again, they're right across the street.
Yep.
So I'm hoping that works. Also, the comment about the baby. Yeah, Anthony and Kate's baby would definitely have been born by now.
Yeah, but yes. But
Not
they're
being
spending time
here.
in
I
India.
know they're in India, but it is kind of weird.
I would agree. You would think that by that point they'd be back, but
No, not even that they'd be back, but like, oh yeah, the original people having a baby. Like just during the VO, do a little shot of them canoodling in India, and then this baby's, and it'll be interesting to see if Bennington's season does start with them already having the baby.
Kate and Anthony?
No, I don't think Kate and Anthony are going to be back next season. I think that by them saying we're going to India, they are there. They are not coming back season 4.
Yep.
I think Simon and Daphne, they don't even get mentioned at all this season, except Daphne when Francesca's talking about Daphne.
Yes.
But mind you, they supposedly have that house because they had a ball.
Yeah, right.
So like, where are you throwing a ball? Come on, guys.
Right.
But yeah, I really do hope that Penelope and Colin don't become what the previous 2 couples are, where they're just like shooed away because they live across
See what
the
you're
street.
saying. Gotcha.
So we can have more Colin Penelope moments.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. This one comes from Amanda. She says, I was disappointed with this episode. We have waited 3 seasons for the Lady Whistledown reveal, and it's in a dark ballroom. No fireworks. What do we think of What do we think Penn's letter said? Would have loved to have seen Colin explaining it to Violet. I would have loved to have seen Colin holding Penn's hand on one side and Portia holding Penn's hand on the other before she reveals herself. They are partners. Why is he and the Bridgertons so far away from her? And after the reveal, she just awkwardly stands there. I do like that Lady D bows to Penn, not the Queen, when the Queen leaves. I would have loved to see how Colin goes from his anger to acceptance. He takes his sweet time going up to her, and no kiss. Also, the Pollen sex scene. Why is she all covered up?
Seriously?
Again. Symbolically, it seems off. She isn't hiding anymore.
Yes.
Would have loved to have seen less of Benedict and more Pollen. I think a sex scene where we see the full acceptance, they know each other fully. Why was that missed?
Agreed.
Also, Anthony doesn't know Penn is Lady Whistledown, thinking this will be a point in season 4, maybe. Love the Featheringtons maid and her tearing up at the ball. The Featherington arc was great. Maybe this was the Featherington season and not the Pollen season.
Yes.
Oh, cool. Like that take too.
I really did enjoy that Penelope wrote a letter to Lady Bridgerton
Mhm.
while she's also pinned that letter to the Queen. But I do agree it was awkward not to have Penelope have Colin, but on the flip side, maybe she said that. Maybe this is part of what she said to him is, I am going to face this alone. I don't need you by my side while I do this. I don't want this to potentially impact you any more than it already is going to. And so as much as I would have loved Colin to be there or for Lady Bridgerton to be there by her side, I think this was Penn's choice. Penn's choice was to let me be honest, let me be open, and I personally will deal with the repercussions. I agree that I don't like that she's wearing a full ensemble in their final coupling. Not just because this is Bridgerton, but I agree with what Amanda said, that this would have been thematically a really great thing for them.
All in all, Amanda says, I expected more from Shondaland, especially after that successful press tour and waiting 2 years. That's it. That's a fair assessment. All right, Marvin, why don't you read the last one from
Beth Farias says, just finished listening to the podcast for 307. Great episode as always.
Thank
I
you.
agree that the Bennington B-plot was not only a missed opportunity to develop his character, but a rehashed storyline. In season 1, Bennington goes to a party with Madame Delacroix and ends up in a threesome with her and his art teacher's wife. He later finds his art teacher with another man, and they have a conversation about loving who you love. So the idea that Bennington is just now learning about considering other types of love feels awfully convenient for the plot, but not true to the story that has already been told. Now that Netflix has announced season 4 will be Bennington's story, I wonder how and if they will weave this into the storyline. Despite some hiccups this season, I loved having Bridgerton back, and I'm grateful for any time I can spend in Mayfair with these characters and families. Christmas episode while we wait for season 4, please. Honestly, right?
Oh,
Beth?
that would be great.
Like, that would be such a beautiful little thing. If we're not going to get Queen Charlotte Part 2, which I would be okay with because I think that was a beautifully complete story, and I think it would be a different element, which I wouldn't be opposed to because I'm here for all the extra Bridgerton that we can get. But if we were going to have a little Christmas storyline, we already know the Queen loves her Christmas trees.
Right. That would be great.
Like, it doesn't even need to have a massive problem or a plot.
Yeah, just kind of like the Christmas episodes from Downton Abbey. Just like go there, have fun. You know, the big thing is when Matthew proposes.
Does Cressida come back for the holidays? Maybe.
Oh God, she's my queen.
I know. What do you think she'll come back? Will Cressida come back, or has she gone to Wales forever? Does Cressida have a point?
That's a great question. Looking at it right now, without knowing the books, I say she's gone.
Okay.
Because I don't know what else she can do. She has done the Lady Whistledown thing. She has run through friendships. She's going to be nothing more than just a villain, and she's already fulfilled that. So, like, what are we doing? Like,
I don't know. Give her a little happily ever after and make her nice.
They could do that, but they'll probably do that off screen the way that they did with Kate's sister.
Yes.
Right? Like, okay, she got a happy ever.
Edwina.
Heard Cressida got married in Wales. Great for her. Yeah, great.
You're right.
All right, on to Bennington.
Yes.
Like, you know what I mean? So that could be what happens.
Okay.
All right, that is the final message, Mary, and we had our final voicemail, I think. Yes, we did. So we don't need any more voicemails.
You know what I think is so funny?
What?
As we've been hanging out with Hyacinth and Gregory.
She knows all.
Like, they're going to have their own romantic
that will be weird.
seasons.
That will be weird.
And it's real life, right? Like, there are people who are your younger siblings, your younger cousins, your younger coworkers, your younger students, your younger neighbors. And they grow up and they get romantic and they get married and they have families of their own. And it's weird when you think back to them as children and other adolescents in their awkward pubescent years.
Yep. It'll be a lot like Arya Stark.
Yes.
That's what it'll be like.
From Game of Thrones. Yeah. And so it'll be interesting to see if they keep these same two characters as they do get older and mature.
Yeah.
Because when it does come down to Hyacinth and Gregory, because they're already, like, we already know, we see the inner workings of Francesca and Eloise. Like, we know we've got some years, but, like, do those people move out of the house? Is that who we're left with? Will we get recast? Or are they...
Yeah, I don't know.
Because the conversations they need to be having with these kids' parents right now is like, okay, they will be old enough by the time they're seasoned by the rate that Netflix is going.
Oh,
these
I know.
kids will be old enough.
They'll be
40.
keys.
Okay, they'll look as old as Bennington.
Yep.
Okay, there'll be no question that these people can be having relations.
Sure.
But just, like, imagine being these kids' parents where you're like, okay, he's cute Gregory right now with a broken arm.
Right.
But he's the final... Oh, wait, he's the second to last season of Bridgerton.
Yep.
Like, I feel uncomfortable, even though I know by the time it's his season, he will be old enough and he'll be a young man.
But you have watched this kid grow up. That's what it
Yeah,
comes down to.
yeah.
It's weird.
And even with Hyacinth, like,
Told you.
she at the end of this episode, she looks like a young lady. And I know that you can do a lot with, like, clothing and hair and all this kind of stuff. And by the time season 4 comes out, Hyacinth probably is going to be quite much more mature. You know, I just can't handle it.
Yep. Yeah, I told you. It's Arya Stark.
Yeah.
That's like we watched Arya grow up, and then when she finally had relations in season 8 or season 7, whatever it was, you were like, oh, this doesn't feel right.
No, I know.
You know? All right. Anything else you want to say in this episode, my love?
That is it.
All right, let's close this bad boy out, shall we?
We shall.
Let's do it.
We want to thank you all so much for hanging out with us, discussing all things Bridgerton this season. As Blake and I said, we have loved talking about the show, particularly talking about it with you. And if you have enjoyed our podcasts, please know that we keep podcasting even during the sad drought of Bridgerton that we are all about to endure.
Yep.
In particular, we are currently podcasting about House of the Dragon on HBO Max. We are going to be podcasting about Rings of Power when that returns back to Amazon Prime. And of course, Outlander, which is going to be coming out around Thanksgiving. So if you are interested in following any of those podcasts or checking out any of the podcasts that we've done in the past, we highly recommend that you head down over to maryandblake.com and you can see everything we cover there.
And go to jointhenerdclan.com, which is our special community for all of the nerds that love our podcasts and love all the things that we talk about, and even the things that we're not talking about too, Mary, whether it is knee-jerk reactions that I'm writing or people just bringing up topics that they love. It's a great community. You get a lot of cool benefits for being in that community that are outside of what you normally get with these shows. And you can join for as little as a cup of coffee per month. So please do consider helping us keep the lights on at Mary and Blake Media, as we are a little mom and pop shop, man. We are in our studio, yes, but our studio is in our basement. So everything here is done very personally by Mary and I. And you could even tell because we're podcasting on our anniversary. 14 beautiful, stunning years with my bride. I still don't know how she's stuck around with me all this time, but she has, and I'm so very thankful. So that is that, Marvin.
So much love.
So much love. All the love.
All right, my friends.
Except for Bennington's threesome. That was the worst.
It was.
That was the worst. It was hashtag worst.
Yeah. We're all set.
It was almost as bad as that episode in This Is Us with the guy hitting on Kate at the camp.
Yeah.
What was his name? Duke?
Probably.
I can't remember. That episode was que horrible.
Yeah.
Like, that was bad.
Oh my gosh.
That's how bad the Bennington threesome was.
But, next season he will have his due and we'll be loving on him because
Yes.
that man deserves it. All right, friends. On that note, my name is Mary.
My name is Blake.
Now go out there and brew some tea.